Hey everybody, it's Karen Glutch from Five Spokes Fitness. Welcome to How I Built This Ride, episode 5. Today we're going to talk about my Lovin Loops ride. And if you've already subscribed to Five Spokes Fitness, you would have gotten that in your email. You may have already written it by now. If you haven't signed up, just go out to fivespokesfitness.com. Look under instructors, profiles, and you will see Lovin Loops. So pull that up. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you through these 6 key steps. And for this one, I've added an extra little segment on coaching, all right, and how that can really pop you as an instructor and really make your profiles and your classes stand out. So let's get started. Lovin Loops. All rides start with inspiration. The inspiration for this ride was actually the ride before it, which was my laps and ladders ride, and specifically the laps part. So I ride with Christine from Peloton. So if any of you take the Power Zone rides with Peloton, I absolutely love those. And specifically riding with Christine, and she is a professional cyclist. So national cyclist winner. She has tons of medals and she's just so inspirational and awesome. And she talks sometimes about those indoor cycling races, and they're in the velodrome and they're just doing lap after lap. It's like over 100 laps. And I'm absolutely riveted by what, not just the physical aspect of what that would take, but the mental aspect. So, I have that on my mind. And the other thing is I finished reading Atomic Habits. And one of the things that really stuck with me in that book was a quote by LA Lakers former coach, Pat Riley. And, he talked about people who are truly excellent. They get excellent, they stay excellent, basically have the tenacity for the repetitiveness that it takes to become and stay excellent. And so I had those 2 things on my mind, and that was the inspiration. A little bit longer explanation than I usually give, but I'm fascinated by that concept. And I think it's so incredibly true. We tend to give up when we're bored, so anyway, what was the goal for the ride? When I looked at, all right, I really want to explore this idea of repetitiveness. And so I'm like, well, of course, that's going to be a loops ride, right? And when I really looked at it, I said, all right, well, this is an opportunity for my riders to think about really these 4 stages while they're doing the ride. So discovery, being familiar, proficient, and then mastery. And I thought, oh wow, this is a great opportunity for coaching, and we're going to talk about that in just a bit. So the goal was for them to experience these 4 stages in a micro 45-minute cycle class. So the title, right? We always talk about, have a title for your ride. You can name it whatever you want in your files, but something that, it becomes your playbill for the riders. Frankly, Lovin Loops was all I could come up with. It's better than just saying it's a loops ride. Okay. And what kind of vibe did I want? I had been listening to in my Spotify Discover Weekly, that comes out on Mondays, if you use Spotify. And I was listening to a lot of remakes of a lot of my favorite pop songs. So I wanted to use that. I liked the vibe. I thought it'd be nice, upbeat, and keep us going. All right, let's jump into structure. So when I thought about, okay, I'm going to have a loops ride, we start with understanding that obviously the structure of a ride and everything in it is going to support the goals of the ride. What do you want your rider to do, and how do you need to structure it so that they're going to accomplish that goal? And at first I thought, okay, well, if I do the math, which is, step one, I do 45-minute classes. You're going to have some warm up, of course. And I said, all right, well, let's say I have, 4 or 5 minute warm up. And what does that leave me? Well, why don't I do 7 5-minute loops? But then I thought about it and I thought, well, remember, you want to go through those 4 stages. So maybe break that up and do 2 separate sets so they can experience that discovery piece again, familiarity, proficiency, mastery. So again, just did that math and came up with, after the warm-up, doing that first set, they're 5 minutes each set, and would do those 4 times for 20 minutes. I'm using 5 movements. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a while and you're with 5 Spokes, I'm spinning certified, and once in a while I break out the spinning symbols. It's basically shorthand. On the profile itself, on the website, I spell this stuff out, because even if you are spinning certified, so many instructors I talk to, they're like, I never use those symbols. I don't even know what they are. I just love them because it's shorthand. But so I'm using, you can see, fast flats, right? So seated, usually not RPM 90 to low 100s, then seated climb, which if you don't use that language, that doesn't resonate with you. It's in the saddle between 60 and 80 RPM. The intensity is hard. Then flat road, seated flat road, back to that seated climb. So the 60 to 80 RPM, hard intensity, and then out of the saddle, hand position 3. So bull nose for 15 seconds going hard. We repeat that 3 more times. So total of 4. Then I switch it up, right? So what do? Well, I kept the durations the same, right? And then I swapped out the last standing climb, right? So out of the saddle for 15 seconds, doing a sprint. And because I added a sprint, I added a 1-minute recovery. That then takes those sets to 6 minutes. Okay, so a little bit longer than 1 minute longer than the first sets. So I did those, right? So you've got those 2 sets, then I did it for a total of 3 times. So that leaves me with a few minutes at the end, 2-3 minutes to have a 45-minute ride. And so then it's like, all right, I can basically do whatever I want. And so what I chose for here is a strong seated flat road. So RPM like 80 to the high 90s, rider's choice on intensity, but because it is kind of I'm coaching kind of a strong, it's probably at least moderately hard, or they can give it everything they have. It's rider's choice to take it across that finish line. All right, so that is the structure. Music, like I said, I wanted something upbeat, just keep them going. I used the pop remixes. And then, like I said, here's a little bit of a additional thing I wanted to cover. And that's really coaching themes. What is once you have that theme for your ride, your inspiration, the goals, how are you going to coach it? So, and, I could just be like, all right, it's a loops ride. Here's what we're going to do. And then all my coaching and cueing could have been around how to be proficient at each one of those movements or pedal stroke. And that's fine. That's fantastic. And I pepper all my rides. And I'm sure you do too, with, cues around form. But beyond that, if you really want to differentiate yourself as just an excellent instructor, bring in that mental piece. Bring in a theme that they can think about while they're riding on the bike, but then they can take it outside of the room and apply it to their life. And that, to me, I mean, that is what excites me about each and every ride is how can I weave this in as some kind of metaphor, so you can take that out of the room. So like I said, for this one, I turned like a loops ride into Lovin' Loops ride and hit those themes of mastery and mental tenacity and having the stick-to-itness to stay with something, even though it can feel tedious and you can feel like, oh my God, you know, am I going to do whatever one more time? The answer is yes. Yes, you are. And that's how you master things. So I did share with my riders this quote from Pat Riley, you know, and I shared with them, I told them why I loved it, and that successful people have learned to live with the tedium of the repetitiveness that it takes to be excellent and stay excellent. And you can apply that to cycling. You can apply that to your career, your entire life. But anyway, so I introduced that, I shared that, and I said, you're going to go through 4 stages in a very brief period of time on the way to mastery, right? So with that first set of loops, for example, we went through it the first time. I said, you just went through discovery, right? It's the first time through. Now you understand duration. What are the moves? What are the intensities? You get in, we do it again. Now you're familiar with it. Right? So that little discovery piece is out of the way. Yes, I'm familiar. We do it again. I know what to expect. I know how my body's reacting. Proficiency, right? Focusing on some excellence, and then again, and it's mastery, because these other things, we've already added those to our experience. So that was the coaching around each loop. And it gave them something, obviously physically to work towards, but also mentally. Okay. So there are my coaching themes. That is my ride. If you want to learn more about detail about how to put together great profiles, we do have some workshops, 3 workshops right now. A 4th one's coming up soon. So more to come on that one. It is $29. It's the only thing we charge for at 5 Spokes Fitness. It's a completely free or donation-based, if you're so inclined, site. So go out, take advantage. And as always, if you have questions, connect with me. Shoot me an email at kgluch@5spokesfitness.com. And you can leave a comment on the website as well under one of the profiles. And I always respond. Your questions are my inspiration, so don't hesitate. All right, we've got a YouTube channel where all these videos reside, and we're on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Stay awesome.